Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I See Bad Movies. And why did I
Why
do it
did you
like
say
that?
that?
I don't know why I
You
did
were
it like
almost
that.
going to give away the next,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, the next
Oh,
season.
yes. I'm so sorry, everyone. I started very strangely there because
Yes.
I am excited about the next season.
Yes,
Do you
next
know
season
why
should
I'm
be
excited
good.
about the next season?
Because we can say that.
Because we
you
can say what we're
almost-
going to say.
yeah.
But also, I feel like you've really struggled this season, Emma.
Honestly, this has been a bit of a hard slog, this one.
It has, hasn't it? Superheroes is not a genre that you're really into.
It's not that, it's just normal. Well, we've done a lot of mainstream movies in this, and
We
bad
have.
mainstream movies are not the same as bad movies.
No, that's true.
Are they?
That's very true.
So I feel like if we're each season we need to stick more to the real low budget
That makes sense.
movies because the high budget but crap movies really hard to get through. At least with the low budget ones, they're funny.
Yes.
We stay entertained.
See that, but there's a fine balance. Okay, the higher budget ones are better known, and
Yes.
they tend to get more downloads as an episode.
Oh, okay.
But then something like Larmageddon, which is like an hilariously bad movie, gets less downloads than something like
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's not. People don't know it.
yeah, because people don't know it.
They should know Larmageddon.
They should know.
And they should know
And
Carousel.
it's interesting as well. Although I don't do much with our YouTube channel, we get a lot of views on the bigger budget movies when we do when I put the episode on there. But that's because people probably
Recognise that, yeah,
or they search it to watch it, thinking, "Oh, great, that movie's on there," and then they're met by us going, "So this movie, anyway." Oh, that wasn't an impersonation of
1 out
you,
of 5.
by the way. I should add.
Yeah.
It wasn't. That was-
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Anyway, hello everyone. As you can imagine there, as you've heard, I am joined by, well, the fantastic...
We're 6 seasons in. You're really
Six
struggling
seasons
now,
in, I'm
aren't you?
so struggling
I
finding
don't even think you've
good
said who you
descriptive
are,
words.
have you?
No, I'm Dave Keane.
And I'm the fantastic.
You're the fantastic.
Emma Spicer.
I wasn't even going to go with the name. I was just going to say, you're the fantastic.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'm the fantastic one.
Yeah, not the Fantastic Four.
No.
That's another terrible movie.
Oh, yeah.
Emma, would you like to tell the long-suffering
If you're
listeners
still here after this season,
what we're
yeah,
watching?
We're watching Madame Webb, and this got terrible reviews, didn't it, when it came out?
I don't think there's been a movie talked about in such negative terms ever
Since
as
J-Lo's
this film.
movie.
Well, since J-Lo's movie, but I think that was more
That was after that,
her
wasn't it?
as a person people were discussing.
Yeah, true.
I mean, the musical was the musical. The album slash movie thing was dreadful,
Yeah.
but also people I think were really just piling it on her, which
the
was
documentary
nice.
was worth a watch.
Yeah, 100%. It was something else. But yeah, this movie, it got so destroyed.
Yes.
And I actually have seen
I was
it
going to
already.
say, have you seen it? Because I haven't seen it.
I went to the cinema, and my initial impressions after it were, it's not that bad.
Oh, okay.
People really jumped on it, and it was fashionable to jump on it, I think.
So are we cheating with this one then?
No, but it is still bad.
It's still bad.
It
It's
really
not
is
as
still
bad as
bad.
they said it was.
But yeah, it's
Not as bad as she was expecting it to be.
not
but
as
still
I was expecting to
terrible.
go in there thinking I'm about to leave,
Yeah.
which I nearly did with the Fantastic Four film, the more recent one. I really love the Chris Evans, Owen Griffith ones.
Yeah.
They're great, fun kid sort of family adventure
Yeah.
superhero movies, so they are good. But the recent Fantastic Four with Miles Teller and Jamie Bell,
I've not seen them.
oh man, oh, that's hard work, really hard work. Very, very, very nearly left the cinema. But Madame Web, I didn't feel like leaving,
Okay.
but I was laughing out loud at some points with the rest of the audience.
Not as bad as Catwoman?
Different to
As bad.
Catwoman.
Okay.
Different to Catwoman because it's got it's got higher production values to an extent.
To an extent.
To an extent.
Okay.
And Well, mind you though, I did enjoy some of the footage from Catwoman. The footage from Catwoman, I enjoyed some of the filming of it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did actually.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, you've not seen this though, have you?
No, I've not seen it.
So let me read out the synopsis for you. In a switch from the typical genre, Madame Web tells the standalone origin story of one of Marvel Publishing's most enigmatic heroines. The suspense-driven thriller stars Dakota Johnson as Cassandra Webb, a paramedic in Manhattan who develops the power to see the future and realises she can use that insight to change it. Forced to confront revelations about her past, she forges a relationship with 3 young women bound for powerful destinies. If they can all survive a deadly present. Right.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, I know. That was written by Sony Pictures.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah. But there you go. It's interesting. Shall I tell you what it's got on IMDb at the moment as a score?
What?
3.9 out of 10. Which I think has actually gone up
Oh, okay.
from
Still pretty
what
bad.
it was when it first came out. But yes, it is still pretty bad. Right, let's flip the coin and see if we're going to focus on the good bits or the bad bits of
What do you think it's going to be?
Madame Web. Oh, what do I think it's going to be? Oh, you've never asked me that before.
Do you feel special?
I feel like tonight is the kind of night where the coin might land on its edge. Imagine if that happened.
We'd have to just do one episode and do good and bad.
Yeah.
A mammoth 3-hour episode.
People are just like, why am I listening to this for 3 hours? I could just watch the film, made up my own mind. Don't do that. We need you to listen.
Yeah.
We need you to listen.
Do that. Watch it after you've heard us talk about it.
Yeah.
Or don't, or something.
Oh, yeah. Remember, we watch them, so you don't
You
have
don't
to.
have to.
I just dropped the
You messed
coin.
it up, didn't you?
I really messed it up. Right, let me flick. That was a good flick.
That was a good flick, but I think it's going to be bad.
You think it's going to be bad? It is.
It is bad.
We're focusing on the bad.
That should
We've
be
had
easy.
the good so much recently,
We have,
haven't we? And it definitely needs the bad, this one, I think. Right,
Right, so you need to pick
my turn to pick.
5 categories.
All right. We have, first of all, scene.
Okay.
Okay. I can already think. Costume.
Oh, that's a good one for superhero movie. Did we have that last time?
We'll
We
see.
had it with no, we didn't have it with Catwoman, but we put it in as a wild card.
I think we threw it in as a wild card, yeah. Special effects.
Okay.
All right.
Not bad.
All right. We have stunts.
That might be a good
There's
one.
definitely stunts in it. And then
Okay.
finally, supporting cast.
Oh, okay.
All right. I actually think these are good
They are good for the
cards for this movie.
yes.
Emma, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to be watching Madame Web for the second time.
You poor
And
thing.
there are people in this world who probably have never seen it to the
probably
end
never will.
and never will.
Never. Well, probably people that have never watched it and never will watch it at all.
Yeah.
Let alone twice.
I feel like I'm having to watch it to make up for those people. Right. Are you ready to go and watch Madame Web?
Ready as I'll ever be. It's 2 hours
Well,
long as well.
we'll see you on the other side, everyone. Bye. Well, welcome back, Emma. We've just watched Madame Web.
No, we have.
We have just watched
Just
it.
watched it
Honest.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Listen, it's been a busy time.
it's been a really busy time. Look, Emma's been ill.
Yeah, I've been ill. I've also been getting my son through the last term of primary
Yeah,
school, which has
these-
been full on.
Are important busy times.
Very busy.
Very busy times. And I've had a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Swaned about,
You've
done
had a nice
nothing.
little break.
You know, my kids are
Oh,
all
good
grown
for
up,
you.
so I don't have to worry about school. Oh no, wait, Tommy's still at school, damn it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, it's been a while since we've watched Madame Web.
Yeah, so we need to try
But let's
and
put it
remember.
this way, I was in no rush to watch it again knowing we were coming in to record about it after quite a long time from watching it.
No.
In zero rush, in fact.
Me too.
Yeah. It's one of these films where I didn't take a lot of notes because I think I was just kind of like, oh my God, where do I start?
Yeah.
Where do I start? Well, I don't want to waste too much time on this film. No. So I'm going to run through the synopsis, okay? And if there's anything in there that sort of comes up where you're like, oh, yeah, why did that happen? That was so stupid, okay? Before we start talking about our topic. So the movie starts in actually 1973. Yeah. And the movie's set in the early 2000s, okay? But it starts in 1973 in Peru. And we've got a research team of people led by a fella called Ezekiel and a pregnant lady called Constance Webb. Ooh. Some sort of foreshadowing there, perhaps, in the name. But they're out researching for an unidentified species of spider that supposedly has these rare healing properties. Mm-hmm. Ezekiel is the security for the mission, and Constance is like the scientist who's leading it. Okay. Yeah. Now, apparently, according to Constance, there's these things called peptides in the spider's venom that can supercharge your cellular structure, and these spiders have got the potential to cure hundreds of diseases. Well, Ezekiel is kind of more interested in the fact that they can give superhuman strength, because they talk a little bit about this tribe of spider people.
Oh yes.
The spider people. I think I've
written a note about the spider people.
So, I mean, surprise, surprise, the movie starts, they've been searching, and quite quickly they find the spider. Yeah. Okay? Ezekiel's back in camp, and Constance comes back, and she's got like, oh, I found the spider. She's got it in a little vial. But now that she's found the spider, Ezekiel decides to kill everyone and steal the spider. And while he's stealing the spider, he shoots the pregnant Constance in the struggle, and steals the spider for himself. Now, the spider people of Peru then bring Constance to a cave and put her in like their sacred pool. Yeah. And they try to heal her with the spider bite, but she dies, and she gives birth to her daughter whilst in the womb. Yeah. Well, whilst in the pool.
In the pool, yeah.
In the pool. Not in the womb. The pool. She's coming out the womb. Anyway.
Yeah. She's not born in the womb. The womb, whole womb doesn't come out with her.
Yeah. Okay, so Constance is giving birth to Cassandra will be the girl's name, and that is played by Dakota Johnson, who seems like she really doesn't want to be in this film, because I don't feel like she's acting her annoyance at the things that happen. I think she's just annoyed at having to do her job in this film.
Surely she chose to do the movie though.
Yeah.
Is that not just her? Is that not what she's like in? I don't think I've actually watched any other movies with her in.
Actually, I haven't. I've not seen.
I'm not sure I have.
I've not seen any of the 50 Shades of Grey films.
No, I haven't seen those.
And I can't think of any.
The first one?
I can't think of any other film she's in. And
no
considering,
idea what else she's in.
Shall we have a quick look what else she's in?
I've only ever seen her in interviews and not actually seen anything she's in.
She was in The Social Network, the one about Facebook with Andrew Garfield and all that. So she was in that. Persuasion. Yeah, there's.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever actually.
Yeah. Oh God, that's wow. Okay. Yeah. Oh God. How would? Oh God. What? Or to have acting parents, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that happens. This spider's been found, but we end up finding ourselves 30 years in the future now, right? Yeah. Cassandra, or now Cassie, she's a paramedic in New York, right? Yeah. Who is working alongside her partner, Ben Parker, or otherwise, Uncle Ben. Yeah. He makes great rice. Please don't hate me. And another fella called O'Neill, right? Who O'Neill's only in it for a short time.
Yeah.
He something happens to him anyway. So we find out that Cassandra was raised as a foster kid, blah blah blah. But she does still have all of her mother's research and notes, etc. Now, there's a couple of sort of scenes where, as Cassandra's going about her day-to-day life, her job, etc., she kind of has some interactions with, or, well, not interactions, but she has these kind of passing by moments with three other very specific people.
Yes.
Okay. A young woman who is skating in front of the ambulance and then flips her off.
Yeah.
She, after kind of rescuing someone, she's given a picture by a young kid and she's like, oh, what do I do with this? It's like, you've been a paramedic for how long? Is this the first time somebody's given you something, you know, as a thank you, right? But there's a young family and there's a young woman there as well. But then when she's going home that day as well, there's a young woman who's her downstairs neighbour, who's talking to what would you call them? The landlord.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, my dad's not in at the moment, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So these three people she has these kind of passing by moments with. And they might well come along a little bit in the rest of the movie. Who knows?
Couldn't possibly say.
Yeah, I know. Couldn't possibly say. This movie does kind of hit you like an ambulance with its kind of like, and this is happening. Yeah. But we'll get there anyway.
Although not much does happen in another way, though. We'll get to that, but
yeah,
there's things that are alluded to that never actually happen.
Yes,
So,
I know. There's so many weird things.
Yeah.
So we have this happen, just like a typical day for her. But then we have like a call that she goes to, a dangerous call. There's a flipped over car on a bridge, right? That's kind of half hanging off the bridge. Cassie goes into the car to try and rescue the person. They get out, but the car goes over and Cassie goes down into the water.
Yeah.
And when she's kind of in the water, she sees all these kinds of web things and all that. And that's like the beginning of her powers re-emerging, tying into being born in the water and then the powers coming out as she's drowning. But she drowns effectively and Uncle Ben revives her.
Did you say Uncle Beg?
Uncle Ben revives her. Did I say Uncle Beg?
Sounded like I said Uncle Beg.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I did. Did I, listeners?
They can't answer you.
Yes, they can.
Not now. Not in real time.
Yeah, they can. Shout it out. I'm sure I'll hear you. But at this point, that's when she starts to experience kind of visions of things. Like she wakes up the next morning and, well, actually Ben's like, whoa, wait a second. Like her heart rate and all that and her O2 levels fix themselves really quickly. And then she goes back in time and Ben is taking her vitals and she's like, yeah, don't worry about me, I'll be fine any second. No, my vitals are this. And then sure enough, the future happens and she's right, etc., etc. So she starts to have these events where she's starting to see these visions. She goes to a barbecue and it's a baby shower, isn't it?
Yeah, she goes to a baby shower.
And she has a really strange conversation about, are you pressing the burgers and releasing all the fat? That's the flavour.
Yeah.
If I had a colleague who, when I invited them to things, they were just a dick.
Then you stop inviting them.
I would stop inviting them.
Yes.
There are no redeeming qualities in this character.
If someone's always a dick,
Yeah.
people soon stop socialising with them,
Yeah,
don't they?
100%.
Although, I say that, but you do get, I think particularly when I was younger, maybe not so much now,
Yeah.
but I've always known people throughout my life that have had that one absolute dickhead friend, and you think, why do you still hang around with them? Why are they still being invited to stuff? Why is it just because people are too polite to be like?
Yeah, maybe.
Like
Is this the instance where you're like, if you don't realise you're the dick friend, then maybe
you're the dick?
You're the dick.
Yeah, I definitely obviously when I was younger and if I had a boyfriend, he had a big group of friends, there was always one complete dickhead.
Yeah.
And you just spend your time thinking, why are they still friends with you? There must be something. Either they're scared
They've got
of you.
money.
Yeah, maybe they've got money. Maybe they're scared of you.
Yeah.
Or maybe people are just too polite to be like, you're being a dick.
Yeah.
Like, don't want to hang around. And it's really awkward to like break up with a friend, isn't it? Because it's like,
yeah. How do you do that? How do you do that? You just like send them a message.
Well, it's happened to me in a group.
That's why I said that, because I knew it had.
Like, that was really weird.
I don't want to be friends with you anymore, and don't bother contacting me.
But it wasn't. It was just like, I don't want to socialise with you anymore. But then we've all seen her out and about, and like I saw her out on a night out.
Aye.
And she comes over and she's like, "Oh, hi, how are you? And wants to have a good catch up." And I'm like, "I thought you didn't want to socialise with me. This is so odd." And then I don't really know how to act with her, because I'm like, and we're still friends on Facebook and things like that. Like, it's just so odd. But it was basically like, I don't want to spend my time with you anymore. I'll be polite when I see you, but I don't want to spend. But it's not even just like, I was imagining when I bumped into her.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, walk off, get on with your night. But she came over to me and made a big point of like, how are you? Like, what's been going on? Like,
well, I've been getting over our breakup.
Yeah, I've been crying every night. I miss you. And it's just so odd. It's never happened to me before. I've had friendships that have like fizzled out, or or like, I've had a particular friendship that she was crazy, and that happens. Had to end. But it's normally it's either something big happens, or it fizzles out, or you move away, but to actually have a message come through to be like, don't want to be friends with you anymore, and then take herself out of the conversation, the group chat, and be like, hi.
I mean, I remember you telling me when that when about that, and I was like, how does that happen?
I don't know. And what made you just all of a sudden go, after years, I'm talking like probably 8 or 9 years of like regularly seeing each other, all of a sudden go, has she never liked us, or has she just all of a sudden gone, I don't like them? I don't know.
I mean, I get it. People grow, people change, and maybe, It
was lockdown, and she was like, "Oh, I feel like we've grown apart," and I'm like, "We've grown apart from everyone because we can't see anyone." So it's not like we, haven't spent time together because we haven't bothered. It's because we can't, and we were doing like Zoom calls and stuff, but we couldn't physically get together.
To be honest with you, I felt like all the Zoom call things and that. It actually made me despise my friends a little bit. maybe that's the problem. Not like despise them. It's like
but.
Like, it was just like, I mean, I know, like, if you're going out with all your friends anyway, you organise it, and you all go to the pub or whatever. But, like, the Zoom calls, it felt like an organised fun.
And I think we also were all probably tired and fed up.
Yeah.
So when you did come to it, it was always in the evening, and when you came to it, you were like...
Oh, what have you been up to? Literally nothing.
Yeah, and you had nothing to talk about because no one had done anything, so that made it... So normally when you socialise with your friends, you're catching up and you're like, oh, what's happened? What's going on with you? Yeah,
which is why we've taken about 2 hours to actually start
because
recording.
we haven't seen each other for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But that's normally what you catch up.
Yeah.
But you couldn't. In lockdown, it was like, what have you been doing? I've been sat at home, working from home, not seen anyone, not done anything.
Yeah, what have you been
up to? What about you? Nothing.
The same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same.
Can't see anyone, can't do anything. There's nothing new to report.
Yeah.
So, it was a weird time, but it was a weird excuse because it was like, we haven't seen anyone. Yeah. No one can see anyone. So it's not like we're neglecting you or we're neglecting this group of friends. We can't physically get together.
And I suppose it's not like if she's met you on a night out and it's been all very chatty, blah, 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 and that sort of thing. But it's not been like, oh, but now I'm going to reignite the friendship and be like, hey, sorry about that.
No, she still doesn't want to meet up with us. Like, we all still get together all the time. She's not interested in that. But when you bump into her, she's very... Like, obviously I'd expect to be civil to each other.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
She's very kind of like, oh, how are you?
It wasn't a bad breakup. It was it's a not you, it's me breakup.
To not want to be my friend, but when you see me, you want to know all about what's been going on in my life.
Yeah, I know.
Weird. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, each their own, you're not, if somebody doesn't want to be in your life, fine. It's odd. It's odd that we were friends for so long, and then all of a sudden... Don't want to be friends with you girls anymore. And all of us, not just like, oh, I don't particularly get on with her out of the group.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing, I think, is the entire group.
And I can't help but feel she didn't need us anymore. Our kids got older. We met when our kids were little.
Yeah, okay.
And we did a lot of stuff with the kids together. And the kids all went off to school and got older, and we did less with the kids, but we stayed friends as adults. Yeah. And regularly see each other. And I can't help but feel like you've served your purpose. I know that sounds really awful, but... You've served your purpose when I was little kids, like and now I don't need your friendship.
Do you know who would be like that? Cassie Webb.
Do you think?
I think she'd be like that. Yeah, I do.
Just trying to get it
and
back
I'm not just saying that to segue back to it, but I think, if you've watched this film, like we have, some time ago, but I've seen it twice now, so this is why I can remember quite so much, and I've also got the synopsis, but the synopsis isn't going into the detail, but the way she plays Cassie Webb, she is so dismissive of everyone else, and even when she's at this baby shower, when she's in a group of other women, she has absolutely no clue about social
she's so
cues.
awkward. Yeah,
she's so awkward, so difficult.
Yeah.
And it's not helped by the fact that she's seeing the future.
Yeah.
But if you were sitting at a baby shower and bearing in mind that you are an orphan, okay, would you go on about your mother dying in childbirth to? No, you probably would have a little bit more
read the
time.
room. Yeah.
But that doesn't stop our intrepid dickhead Cassie Webb.
Someone's baby shower.
Yeah, I know. It really does. But it's also ruined a little bit because she's having these visions of the future, etc. So she keeps getting all of these little visions about little things that happen and so on. But also, then when they are called to a warehouse fire, okay, and she also sees she sees her friend O'Neill, the guy that was flipping the burgers, you know, and pressing the fat out. Yeah. She sees him drive off in an ambulance, but the ambulance gets hit by a truck. Yeah. And he dies, and then she's back in time. So she stops seeing the vision of the future. Yeah. And she tries to kind of stop it happening in a way, ineffectually, because she doesn't really understand what's happening. And I understand that. If all of a sudden she's saving people's lives, there's no growth of understanding her powers there. All of a sudden she's just good at them and knows. So I get that. But she tries to stop him, but he does still die. And that, I think, is what really makes her think she's not going crazy. She is actually seeing visions of the future. But there are some things that she does change and fix, like a pigeon that flies into a window and dies. Yeah. A moment later, when she's back in kind of the present and not seeing the vision, she opens the window and the pigeon flies in and is okay. Yeah. So she can kind of play around with events.
It's the shittest superpower because she can see a few seconds into the future, can't she? It's not even that far into the future. Mm-hmm. And then she has no ability, like she's not got super strength, she's not got, like, there's no ability to really make a lot of changes. So, like, things like opening a window, yeah, great, I can do that. There's no, like, if somebody's going to attack her, though, she's not got super strength to fight them off. So it's a pretty useless superpower.
The only thing that I could think it would evolve into, and I don't know the comic book character Madame Web very well, but the only thing I could think of is if you can see the future, you can see an attack coming. So is she going to get good enough with seeing the future that if someone throws a punch, she knows it's coming, she can just move? Is that what it evolves into?
But you can't win a fight by just getting out of the way of the other person's moves, can you?
Well, but if you know it's coming and you can see everything that happens and you can dodge and dodge and dodge, and then
get a few punches in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know where they're going to be, so you can deliver a killer blow. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe. But in the meantime, all this is happening. We also catch up with Ezekiel, the bad guy who killed Cassie's mum. Now, he picks up a woman at the opera, okay, because he's so smooth. Yeah. All right. And they have an evening together, but they're in bed together, and he wakes up from having a nightmare because he's got some kind of precognition powers as well, but he has the same dream every single night of being killed by 3 teenage girls. Yeah. The same 3 teenage girls that Cassie has had these kind of passing bys with. So they're all kind of linked in some kind of web of destiny, perhaps. Anyway, right, moving on. So he has this nightmare every night, and he dies every time. So his plan is to find out who these girls are, so he can kill them first. So the woman that he's actually picked up in the opera. Like, that's a thing.
I don't know how old he is, but she's not young, is she, the woman that he takes home?
No, I mean, what is she? Maybe 50s?
Yeah, I think
Late
so.
50s, maybe?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and if you imagine he was, like a 30-year-old man or whatever, he's got to be near his 60s himself, technically, as a character, because it's 30 years later.
True, yeah.
But I don't know if maybe the spider thing that he stole and the venom from it is not only giving him superpowers, but maybe because it heals, it keeps him younger, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really covered.
Maybe
Possibly.
that was trying to tell us that then, because she looked older than him. So maybe it was like, this is how old he would be dating, but...
Maybe.
But
But ultimately what it turns out to be is he says to this woman, blah, 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 but then he touches her and he starts putting this kind of poison into her. And it turns out she's in the NAI, I think, intelligence agency or something.
She is, yeah.
And he's trying to get his hands on a facial recognition program.
Yeah.
And he gets the information out of it, and he's now got this facial recognition program to find these 3 girls, because they're going to turn into spider women and kill him. Okay. Now, Ezekiel is working with a hacker who is then kind of constantly working on CCTV footage to find these 3 girls. And when O'Neill dies, her colleague, she's going to go to the funeral, so she goes to the Grand Central Station, but at the same time, all 3 of these girls turn up.
Yes.
One of the girls is running away from home, one of the girls is just there, and another one of the girls is...
Yeah, I don't think it particularly explains why they're just there, does it?
So they end up on a plane, on a train at Grand Central Station, planes, trains, automobiles, who knows. But she keeps seeing visions of like little sort of future hints of things that are going to happen. And she then sees Ezekiel coming on the train and literally killing the 3 girls. But then she's back in the present and she sees the girls coming on the train, etc. And then she's like, whoa, wait a second. And then she looks down the train through the carriages and she sees Ezekiel coming. She's like, we got to go. She literally grabs the girls, forces them off the train. It pulls off and goes. But then Ezekiel turns up in his bad Spider-Man outfit. Which is interesting because Spider-Man doesn't exist yet, but his outfit looks just like a Spider-Man outfit. Yeah. Make that make sense. I know.
Make any of it make sense, please.
Yeah, I know. But ultimately, he tries to kill the girls. They get away. He kills a few cops in the same instance, and then Cassie steals a taxi and drives out to the woods with the 3 girls. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the cops that were there, literally for some reason, like, stop there, right? About Cassie and the 3 girls, and that ends up being that she's kidnapped them. There's like news reports about her kidnapping 3 girls.
Yeah.
Who reported that?
Don't know.
No idea. It just felt like this is just something we have to have.
So many things in this movie that aren't explained.
Yeah.
We just have to guess or use our imagination or just accept.
So odd. But yeah, they go out the city, they get kind of chatting, blah, blah, blah. But Cassie tells them that she can see the future, right? But so she says to the girl, stay here. I'm going to go back to my apartment, look into stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's maybe something to do with these spiders, blah, whatever, who knows. Etc.
Can we skip this whole episode?
Blah, blah, blah.
And then we watch the movie, etc. Bye.
Etc. Bye. So, I mean, so she leaves the girl, she goes back and she finds all this information and she sees Ezekiel. So she goes, oh, wait a second, I recognise that guy. This is the guy that was with my mum, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And she realises she has to go back to Peru. So she's driving to go back to the girls. Yeah. But the girls are like, we can't. In the meantime, the girls are like, we can't be bothered staying here in the woods. We're hungry, we're cold. They go find a diner. Yeah. Okay. So they're in the diner. The worst scene in the movies happens. I hated this whole scene.
Did I have this down for my
A guy recognises the girls as being the ones that were kidnapped and calls the police. But of course, our hacker is tuned into the police bands, picks up that fact, and Ezekiel's on his way at the same time that Cassie's on her way. Now, Cassie sees the future, and Ezekiel's walking in and kills all the girls and defeats Cassie as well.
Yeah.
So, because she sees that as the future, she kind of changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
And instead drives a car into the diner.
She does love to drive a car into a building, out of a building.
Into buildings, out of buildings.
Yeah.
She just loves, that's her real superpower, hitting people with vehicles.
Yeah, there is a stunt later on that I want to talk about.
Oh God, yeah. I know exactly what the one is. Right. So she hits him, but not before he grabs her. He grabs her and he puts some of this poison into her.
Yes.
As well. So
he likes to put his poison into people, doesn't
he really does. He really does.
It's not a euphemism.
Oh, this is a family show. Wait, no, it's not.
I don't think these episodes are.
No, I don't think they are. That's really quite thrown me. So anyway, they escape and they're like, and Cassie's like, you morons, blah blah blah, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll do whatever you say now. So she takes them to Ben's place and she says, Ben, you're going to have to look after them. I need to go to Peru. So she does.
Yes. Right. Can we talk about Peru?
Yeah, go on.
Let's talk about it now.
Go on. Let's talk about it now.
Because I've just written some notes about Peru.
Okay.
So I know this is movie land.
Yeah.
But she just goes, I need to go to Peru.
Yeah.
Right. How do you afford to just go to Peru?
Yeah.
You just leave your whole life. What's she living on when she's in Peru? She literally goes with the clothes on her back as well, doesn't she? I don't think she packs anything. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't just walk out of your job, like you've got bills. You don't just get up and go, I need to go to Peru. Bye, everyone. And then literally go to Peru with the clothes on your back and nothing else.
Yes.
How did you get through airport security?
But yes, exactly. Well, she's an escape, like a hunted felon for a kidnapping.
She's a wanted person.
Yep.
So she somehow just breezes through the airport.
Yep.
And how does she know where to go as well? Because she just goes to Peru. Peru's a big
Might
place.
I add about the airport? They set this film in 2003. The director purposely, or they wanted to set this film in 2003, literally so that during the diner scene they could use Britney Spears' Toxic.
Yes.
Which didn't come out until 2004. Okay.
That's a nice little touch.
But that also means the film set in 2003 in New York.
Yeah.
After 9/11, do you think many felons or suspected felons are getting through airport security?
Security got so tight at that time because
especially in America,
it had to, right? Because it just had a terrorist attack. It's no way you just breeze. And also, in any other movie you watch, if somebody's wanted by the police, there's police at every single airport, harbour, like everywhere you can get out of the country. There's police.
Yes.
They're like, right, swarm the airport, swarm. This is a wanted person. They flash up on the security and stuff.
That's fine. If they did something like that and she somehow uses her powers to see the future to get past them and get onto a flight somehow
but
to Peru.
I don't think you can get past security to get through an airport, can you? You have so many checks on the way through.
Yeah, but if you're using superpowers to, just give me something that kind of explains how she got through.
But they don't. She just gets through. And then...
So your next point, how does she know where to go?
How does she know where to go? Peru's a bloody big place. She just goes, I need to go to Peru, and then just ends up in the exact spot that she needs to be in. This is like when you see phone calls on movies or TV shows, and they're like, meet you tomorrow. And you're like, you haven't said a time, you haven't said a place. You've just literally both known to turn up at a certain time. Like, sorry, but... If I'm meeting someone, I need to know where and what time at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the most basic information I need.
Do you know what I've started to see in a little bit of TV shows or whatever? They say, I'll drop you a pin or whatever.
Yeah.
Like on WhatsApp or something. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's real. But in 2003...
But you also still need to know what time are we meeting.
Where are we going? When? Exactly.
But if someone drops me a pin, I need to know what time and what time you drop me the pin because I need to get there.
Yep.
So if you drop me a pin at 10 and I haven't left the house yet and you're there, it's half an hour away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be there till 10:30.
It ain't going to happen. No,
so
absolutely.
Just say, I'll meet you here at this time.
And if anything, I could be in a completely different place in half an hour.
Yeah, you could be moving around.
That may be the plan.
But it's just, the whole Peru thing was just
Emma,
madness.
I'm going to blow your last argument out of the water.
Okay.
How did she find where she needed to go in Peru? I'm going to tell you exactly now.
I can't remember, actually.
Oh, I can tell you. She had a photograph of a tree.
Oh, yes. Because there's no other trees in Peru. There's one tree in Peru.
Only one tree.
Get to Peru airport, look for the tree.
And she literally, when she gets to where she is, she holds up the picture of the tree, takes it away, and there's the tree.
Come on. How big is Peru? I need to look this up now. I need to look up the actual size of Peru.
Good God. Well, look, okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
No. Oh, you got more to say about Peru?
Peru
Go on.
is 496,225 squared miles.
Okay.
And she found the one tree she needed to find. Is that right? That sounds a lot, doesn't it?
Is
Peru is
that
the
miles
19th,
or...
19th largest country in the world.
Because I was going to say, how big
Pretty
was
big.
that?
496,225 square miles.
Square miles?
Yeah.
You could fit the UK in that 5 times.
Yeah.
The UK is 93,000 square miles.
Went to Peru and found one tree.
I don't think I could even go to the end of my road and find a particular house.
If someone said to me in that park there's a particular tree you need to find, I'd be looking for ages because there's quite a few trees.
Although...
trees look the same.
One thing I'd say is this, right? There's a game you can play on the internet called GeoGuessr.
Yeah.
Where it drops you in Google Maps on a place, and then you have to pick on the map where you are. You can move around and look for cues, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was playing it and I was doing the UK version.
Oh, and you've got to get back home, have you?
No, you don't have to get back home. You just have to figure out
where
it's dropped you.
Oh, okay.
And the closer you get, the more points you get.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was doing the UK version, and it can be all sorts of different places.
Yeah.
And you can take a few clues to be like, that looked like Scotland or anywhere.
Yeah.
But it dropped me between Canterbury and Wildwood.
Oh, okay.
And I literally just recognised the road because the amount of times I've driven on that road.
So it just dropped you a bit close to home, didn't it? So
really close to home.
It could have dropped you anywhere in the UK.
Jesus Christ, I recognise that.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I ever got maximum points on being dropped
surely
somewhere.
it can see your location when you're playing it, can it? So
it can.
You'd think it would put you... Oh, it's just random, I guess.
It's just completely random.
Yeah.
But in that instance, maybe Cassie Webb
tree
would be so perfect.
But let's just... Cassie Webb hasn't been back to Peru since she was born 30 years ago, so...
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
She's not necessarily going to know...
No, she's not going to have a bloody clue. So, yeah. Cassie flies to Peru. She tracks down... Well, she doesn't track him down. She ends up near the tree, and then he turns up going, well, I knew you'd come back, effectively. He puts her through a ritual that separates her soul from her body, okay? And she experiences a plane of higher consciousness where all living things are connected and where every possible future can be seen. In that instance, she learns that Constance, her mother, was looking for the spider, not for fame or money, because she was always like, why would you go to the jungle with me as a baby and being so close to you giving birth to me?
Yeah.
Because she didn't know that Ezekiel shot her mother. She always thought that her mother just died in childbirth. But she has this vision of it, of it all happening, and she finds out that her mother was actually trying to save her from having a hereditary disease that her mother had and would pass on to her. But Cassie's like, I don't have any disease. I don't have anything wrong with me. And it's because the spider bite when she was giving birth healed her, so that's why she doesn't have it. So she kind of reconciles the anger that she has towards her mother in this instance because she realises it was all for her. She's still a dick though. That doesn't change that.
She was born a dick, she always will be a dick.
Now, back in New York, Ben's sister-in-law, Mary, goes into labour. And they all jump, instead of the girls just staying in the house, okay, they all get in the car and drive off. And the facial recognition software picks up the girls in the car and Ezekiel's on his way to intercept them. However, it's at that point that he puts a bomb under the taxi. Cassie sees the future that this bomb explodes and kills them all.
Yeah.
The taxi, their car or whatever it is. So Cassie sees that this bomb goes off and kills them all, but she changes the future by doing something specific with an ambulance that she steals.
Yes.
Okay. So Cassie has stolen 2 vehicles in this movie, a taxi and an ambulance.
Yeah.
And she does the same thing with each of them.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say. because I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that scene in a moment. Ezekiel's incapacitated. She saved people from being damaged. Ben takes Mary to the hospital to give birth. Ultimate Peter Parker, Ultimate Spider-Man. Sorry, pardon the pun if anyone knows Ultimate Spider-Man. To give birth to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Oh, wow, what a web of destiny we weave. I know. I mean, I've had enough of Spider-Man origin movies, but Spider-Man origin movies?
Yeah, no.
Come on, far too much. Now, the girls lure Ezekiel into a condemned firework factory, okay? The same site which was engulfed in fire earlier where her colleague O'Neill met his death, so this is why she knows about it. And she sets up traps to disorient him, and she's starting to use her powers of seeing the future to be able to be like, let's move here now, move there now, do this to affect him because she knows where he'll be. But because the place is on fire, Cassie calls for a medical evacuation helicopter to the location. I don't know, maybe she drops a pin.
Yeah.
Get here at 8:30.
We're here now. Where's here?
But Ezekiel destroys the helicopter, the girls are separated, and then he taunts Cassie with her mother's death. But Cassie uses her supernatural powers, with her soul separating from her body to help the girls and guide them all to safety, because each one of them is in peril.
Yeah.
And she does something to help them all, because it's one of those moments of, oh God, I can only save one.
Yeah.
Two are going to die.
It's like Sophie's Choice.
I've never seen Sophie's Choice.
I've never seen it, but
when anyone says it's like
Sophie's
Choice,
between her children, doesn't she?
Is it between her children?
So it's a wartime movie, and they're going to take. They say to her, "We're going to take one of your children," and she has to choose.
Oh, that's Sophie's Choice. So when everyone always goes, it's Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
I know it's the meme. It's like Sophie's Choice.
No, it's she has to pick between. She's got a son and a daughter, and she has to pick between them.
Oh, it doesn't seem quite such a funny meme anymore.
No, it's not funny.
It's really depressing. Thanks for that.
Who's the comedian that says something about?
Is it Peter Kay that does Sophie's Choice?
It's somebody that does something about Schindler's List. They're talking about finding things depressing. They're like, no, I still find it funny, or something like that. They do a joke about it.
Yeah.
It is quite funny, but I can't remember it, so it's not funny to tell you. But yeah, I say it quite a lot.
Well, that's left me.
That's just me all over. Can't remember the joke. But Sophie's Choice is, I've not seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I know that's what happens in it. That she has to pick which one of her children survives. So
it's not just like, what do I have for dinner tonight?
No, it's not.
But so Sophie's Choice.
They're going to kill one of your children.
So I know people do say that a lot, and I think does it come from like a TV show or a comic comedian sketch or something?
They do reference it in Friends.
Maybe that's
Rachel says it's something. Oh God, it's like Sophie's Choice. It's something really
maybe
trivial.
That's it. Yeah.
But I can't remember if they're taking the child to kill them or taking the child away. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's basically which one of your children are you willing to give up? And it's Meryl Streep, isn't it, that plays the mother?
Yes, that's right. Like I say, I've never seen it.
I've not seen it, but
because,
maybe I should watch
because
it.
I spend my life watching bad movies.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. So many good movies have passed me by. Well, not that many, because I've watched the Lord of the Rings movies. Anyway, don't say anything. You're not allowed to say anything bad about Lord of the Rings. So anyway, so Cassie's using her powers. She saves the girls, okay? Yeah. And she sets off the final trap, which fatally kills Ezekiel, okay? However,
yeah,
a stray firework hits her in the face, and she goes tumbling through. She falls miles into the water, okay? And down she goes. But when they were hiding out, okay, Cassie taught them CPR, and there was this whole moment about her teaching them CPR.
That was just literally so that it time with the scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was just literally so that later in the film, the girls could do CPR on her. And it wasn't because she saw the future. She just taught them CPR.
You didn't need that scene where she was teaching them CPR because lots of people do know CPR.
Yeah, just pretend that they know CPR.
You didn't need to put that bit in that she's taught them.
Yeah. If, let this happen, let her drown, they drag her out the water and one of them just goes, get out of the way, I know CPR.
It's like somebody like having to swim in a movie. Like Crawl.
Oh,
She had to swim. I know she had to be quite a good swimmer in that, But they showed her swimming career, didn't they? But it's like someone showing like, oh, well, you had swimming lessons as a kid. Now you can swim when you need to. Like, we just assume people, if we see someone swimming, we go, yeah, they can swim. Lots of people can swim.
Absolutely.
Lots of people know CPR.
Fine. If we have to know she's a good swimmer,
that's
just
different,
have a conversation about her swimming career, or let's see her trophies.
But we had the flashbacks, didn't we? Of
yeah,
of her training.
And absolutely, I think this film just hits you with some things that you just don't need. Absolutely, and that's really one of them. So they do CPR on her.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Cassie wakes up to discover, however, that she's now blind.
Yep. Oh,
and paraplegic. I
totally forgot about this. Yeah. Is she paraplegic?
Yeah, she's paraplegic.
Oh, yeah, she is.
She breaks her back in the fall into the water.
So, this movie is just so bad.
Yeah.
So, all the way along, she's not really a superhero because she doesn't really have any powers. Yep. And then we end up with somebody who's blind and in a wheelchair.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We also have 3 young women who are going to end up with superpowers somehow.
But we never get round to it. We never get round to it in this movie.
And when the trailer came out for this film, it kind of leaned into showing the girls with their powers, etc.
Yeah, all the dreams that guy was having.
But it was just a vision of the future.
Yeah. Or the dreams that the guy was having, wasn't it, about the 3 girls?
So we don't actually
we never get an explanation of how they get superpowers or what happens to them or.
Yep.
And the main character ends up severely disabled at the end of the movie. It's just
it
odd.
Happens. The character is blind and in a wheelchair in the comics, so that's true to character.
Yeah, but it's an odd way to write out a superhero character, isn't it? She never really had any superpowers, and then she ends up so much worse off than she was.
Yeah.
It's not your typical superhero movie, this, is it?
No, it's really not. It's really not. It's no Spaghetti Man.
I mean, I guess Daredevil's blind, isn't he?
Yes.
But he can fight.
He's got his senses, and
he's got he's got other abilities.
Yeah.
And he's got kind of the when it rains, he can see certain.
Yeah, or any vibration of sound he can see. Yeah.
But she's not even.
You really don't like seeing the future as a superpower, do you?
It's not a superpower.
Is it not?
Well, like you said earlier,
like in Deadpool 2 when they say to Domino, "What's your superpower?" Luck. It's like luck's not a superpower.
Yeah.
And then you just see the most lucky event of things happen just to help her out. And seeing the future is absolutely a superpower once you can control it.
Yes, like you said earlier, if you could see it, and then you could use that, you could process it so quickly in your mind that, if you was having a fight, you could. Duck and get your punches in when you could see the fight playing out quick enough for your brain to go, I know what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
And also you've got to see it, but then you've got to remember every detail of it. So you've got to see, okay, they're going to attack me, but then if you could hone that and go, I've got a photographic memory and I can remember his exact movement, because you need that as well. Because if I just saw a flash of somebody having a fight, I wouldn't know when they were throwing punches and when to react. And so yes, if she could hone it like that and use it like that.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, Emma, but I don't think we're going to get a Madame Web 2 to ever find out.
Definitely a good thing. I don't want to sit through that.
It really is.
So we might do sequels at some point, and I'm not sitting through another one.
No, we're not. We will never do a sequel of Madame Web.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just role-playing what Sony said. We are never doing a sequel of Madame Web. Yeah. But that's where the film ends. Basically, Cassie now is kind of adopted these 3 girls.
Yeah, it's
odd. And she's like, hey, I'm going to mentor you into being the heroes that you're going to end up being.
Yeah.
And we end the film with them kind of in costume, but like a future vision of them again in costume and going off and doing their own thing. But Madame Web's with them is kind of like an astral projection of herself with them. So I don't know if maybe she's somehow through kind of the web of destiny thing that she does.
Yeah.
She's still kind of with them and can help them. I don't know. Who knows? But that's Madame Web. And it is...
awful.
Yeah, it is. It is painful. How long was it as well? What was it?
It wasn't short.
No, they never are
short
they?
Enough.
They're never short.
It wasn't short enough.
An hour and 56 minutes.
Yeah, so nearly 2 hours.
I've seen that film twice. I went to the cinema to watch it.
Oh no,
because
poor thing.
I thought to myself, when it came out, it was such a big thing about how bad it was.
Oh, you wanted to see.
I wanted to watch it in the cinema, and I posted on our socials about it about going to go see it. And when it finished, I kind of said, like, it's not as bad as people were making out.
Yeah.
It's not, at the time, when I'd only watched it once and fresh out the cinema,
Yeah.
maybe I was high on Maltesers, who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think you must have been.
You know, maybe I think that time I had a slushy blast as well.
Oh,
Okay, so
yeah,
I was
let's forget it then.
you
You were just in there for the snacks.
Yeah, I was.
You were just enjoying the snacks so much you thought the film was good.
Yeah, that's it. But I remember sitting thinking to myself, people are really laying into this film, and like TikTok, everywhere was just smashing down on this film.
And now you've watched it twice, you can see why.
And I can understand it, but I also do think it was just fashionable to really hate on this film. And ultimately, it's just a crap film.
Yeah.
But is it the worst film you've ever seen?
No, it's not the worst film I've ever seen, but it was lacking a lot for a superhero movie.
100%.
Like superpowers.
Superpowers,
Costumes.
first of all. Costumes, yeah.
Storyline.
Yeah, and a sympathetic character that you can get involved with.
Yeah, we've had this before, haven't we? This is a trouble. When you're watching a movie, you need to either love or hate the main character.
Yeah.
You need to have some emotion to the main character. Mm-hmm. And she was just a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
So you didn't warm to her.
You're just annoyed
but not
by her.
Not enough to hate her.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a villain, you can think, oh,
or an
I really hate
anti-hero,
this
a
guy.
really good
Yeah.
anti-hero. Yeah.
And then, because then you can have some emotion about it and be like, I really hate that guy. And you really want to see them get their comeuppance.
Yeah.
Or you have a main character that you just fall in love with and think, oh, really
Yeah.
rooting for the main character.
Yeah.
But
And charismatic.
Yeah.
Even if they're a bit of a dick, they're charismatic, and you think, okay, you're taking me on a journey with this character. I see what you're doing.
Well, this is what we said
Doesn't
about Ben
happen here.
Affleck, didn't we, in Daredevil? There's no charisma.
Yeah.
He's just like, it's just like if you ordered an actor out of catalogue and
Yeah.
you're just like, right, you look like a typical good-looking man. There's nothing like, there's no character in his face. He's just a good-looking, bog standard actor. There's no there's nothing that sets him apart from other actors, is there?
Do you? And you know what? I think that with Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's nothing special about her.
she's just a very
Bog standard.
standard-looking person,
Yeah.
and she's
Standard
got.
actor. Not even standard.
I mean, I've only seen her in Madame Web. I honestly couldn't say,
I
but
haven't
if
seen
that's
anything
what I've
else.
got to go on,
Yeah.
I think to myself, you don't have any charisma.
No,
I don't think, and I don't know what the character of
It does
Madame
make
Web
you
is like
wonder,
in the
doesn't
comic
it?
books. Maybe she is a complete
Is
dick,
it-
and maybe it's a great performance.
Yeah. True.
But not a lot of people do know who Madame Web is.
But also, it's not necessarily. I guess some actors are just fantastic actors, and they go a long way in their career because they're great at what they do.
Yep.
And I feel like other people, it's the same in any industry, other people just have connections, know people in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's how
it.
they get through. And I think Ben Affleck and Dakota Johnson might be two of the people that have just kind of coasted through on connections. Or
And the one thing I'd say is I don't think Ben Affleck is a nepo baby, is he? I don't think he's got anybody
I'm not
who
sure,
is.
actually. I don't think so.
I don't think there is.
I know.
But-
I think he wrote Good Will Hunting
Yeah,
with Matt
with-
Damon, didn't
yeah.
he? So I think he might have been riding on the coattails of that for a while because everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's an amazing film," and maybe he got a lot of
And he
recognition
still
for
did
that.
some good stuff after it.
Yeah, so maybe he's
But
done a few
some terrible
good movies
things.
early on,
Yeah.
and then it's just all kind of gone a bit downhill. But yeah, because you don't see him in any of the big blockbusters, do you?
No, you don't.
And he's also got a brother, Casey Affleck, that he's in
Yes, I
some
was
little
talking
films,
about
but
him in the last
you
one.
don't see him very often, do you?
No,
Pop
but
up?
I
Not
think
major
I think
films.
he's a better actor because
Yeah.
I was talking about I think I said during not Deadpool Daredevil that he was in that Manchester by the Sea that had kind of like rave reviews. A lot of people say, "Oh, you should see Manchester by the Sea."
Yeah.
I've never watched it,
Yeah.
but apparently he's really good at it. So,
Yeah.
but again, also I think Casey Affleck has a few
But then are they comparing
real life
him?
issues himself.
Yeah,
so.
maybe they're comparing him to Ben Affleck, and in comparison, he's quite good.
Yeah, that's also possible.
Yeah.
But Dakota Johnson? She's the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith.
Yeah.
And again, her maternal grandmother is Tippi Hedren, who is in The Birds.
Oh,
I think.
okay. Yeah.
I think Tippi Hedren was in
And
The
she's
Birds.
dating Chris, what's his face, at Coldplay, isn't she now?
Oh,
What's
is
his
she?
name?
Chris Martin.
Chris Martin, yeah.
Okay.
She's dating him now.
Two very bland people just
Just being bland together.
being bland together. Oh dear. So, our categories, Emma:
Yes.
stunts, costumes, special effects, and supporting cast. Remember, we're looking at the bad
Yes.
in this film. What one do you want to start with?
Should we start with stunts? Is that the first one you said?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's go in order.
Okay, so when she steals the ambulance,
Yeah.
there's a point where there's a guy that she needs to stop. Was it a car or a guy?
It's a guy.
It's a guy,
yeah.
So she needs to stop him. So he's kind of in the shot, but then she just drives this ambulance out of a building.
It's a parking lot.
Oh, parking lot.
Bearing in mind, this is an ambulance. How many parking lots are tall enough for an ambulance as well?
I'm not sure in America. Everything's bigger in America.
Everything is bigger in America. Yeah.
Sorry. She comes out this parking lot, a couple of stories up.
Yeah.
She just drives off the edge, just comes flying out and hits him with the ambulance.
She doesn't just hit him.
Oh.
Because if you watch the film, he actually jumps into it as well.
Yes. So he kind of jumps. Oh yeah, he jumps in the way. I have put that. He jumps in the way.
Yeah.
And this is the second time she's done this, and I've just put on my notes, just give her some superpowers.
I know.
She's just mowing people down with cars at this point.
Give him something to deal with him other than vehicles.
Other than vehicles, just ramming vehicles into people, because I could do that. I'm not a superhero. I mean, I'm not going to.
Is this a confession?
No. But it's like any person in the world could get behind a wheel and mow somebody down.
Yeah.
It's not a that's not a superpower.
You don't need to be able to see the future to hit someone with a car.
And also, it's just ridiculous the way it comes out of like the parking lot, 2 stories up, and they don't particularly crash badly. She just gets out, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So it's not. It's just like, yeah, okay, that would happen.
It just
I
blows
think
my
that
mind.
was just frustrating for me, because I was like, she's just done the same thing she's just done already.
Yep.
And just give her some superpower so that she can actually fight these bad guys off.
Yeah. Even if it's something like he goes to attack her and she's like, why am I able to dodge it of all of his attacks? Or anything to do with her power set.
Yeah.
Rather than just, you know what, I know how to drive an ambulance. Smack.
Yeah.
Ugh. And especially she's just hit him with a taxi.
Yep.
Ugh.
It's just,
Honestly.
I just thought it was bad.
It just really is, isn't it?
And it's just ridiculous.
So lazy.
Because I know it's, I know it's movie land and anything can happen. Yeah. But that wouldn't happen, would it? You wouldn't be able to drive it out of, you wouldn't be able to drive a vehicle 2-3 stories up, hit some guy and then just land okay and just get out. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Gravity doesn't work like that.
And then, end up not going to prison.
Yeah. Well, this is like Taken, the movie Taken.
Yeah,
so this guy goes out to Paris to save his daughter from these traffickers, and he causes so much massive car crashes. He kills people. Yeah. He leaves this trail of destruction behind him. But in the end, he finds
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He knows the chief of police or whatever, doesn't he, in Paris? And he tells him to go home. He finally, after lots of people have lost their lives, loads of car crashes have happened, loads of destruction to the city.
Yep.
He finally finds his daughter, and he just gets on a plane and goes home. Sorry, but you're in so much trouble with the law. You'd never get out of prison.
Interpol are after you.
Yes. You'd never get back through the airport.
No, absolutely not.
Like, that's what's ridiculous. It doesn't matter what, if they're trying to save somebody or they're doing something for a good cause, it doesn't matter what criminal activity happens in the meantime. Yeah. They just walk away at the end like nothing's happened.
You're forgiven.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the good guy. Oh, we'll let you off.
In the end. No matter about all these 20 people that died.
Yeah.
And all their families. Don't worry about that. Yeah. You've saved your daughter, or you've saved, it's just like...
You've caused hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage?
Like yes.
Never mind. We've got insurance.
Yeah. We'll just spend 20 years rebuilding the city that you just destroyed.
Oh, don't worry about that abandoned factory you burnt down. Yeah. We were going to demolish it anyway. Yeah, in fact, actually, you saved her the job. Here's the keys to the city.
Never mind about the 2 cars that you crashed, and just ridiculous. So I just thought that was...
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. It's not, it wasn't so much that it's a bad stunt, it's just the whole concept behind it, the idea behind it just makes it so awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dreadful. Right. So yeah, 100% agree. I thought I'd delete my notes there, but I haven't. The stunt, that I agree with you 100%. Yeah. That's the worst stunt. And I think actually that's one of the first stunts that we've had for the stunts category where we can really hands on heart say, just dreadful.
Yeah.
Quite possibly the worst stunt so far we've had.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. Now, what about costume?
Costume, I have put down the spider people of Peru.
Oh, okay.
And also...
look at you picking on the indigenous people.
You got a bit, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
The strawberry blonde girl, out of the 3 girls that she kind of rescues, is definitely wearing a wig.
Yeah.
But it was a bad wig, and we were just like, could you either have dyed her hair just for movies? Because people do worse things for movies. They put on weight, lose weight, bulk up. Like,
absolutely.
To dye your hair semi-permanent, and then, well, I don't know if you could do semi-permanent with that light colour, but to dye it and then just grow it out, it's not a massive commitment. Like,
absolutely.
People have done much more, like, you know, I mean, look at, why is his name just completely gone out of my head? Who is the guy that was in The Machinist and...
Oh, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Where he goes really thin.
He got like anorexic for that.
Yeah, and then
he bulked up for Batman,
bulked up for Batman,
which must have been crazy, because he was like skin and bone, and then he was like really bulked up.
Can't imagine doing that.
But that's what I mean. That's the sort of commitment that a method actor they'll go to those lengths because they want to look. And like, I know Charlize Theron, when she did Monster.
Oh, for Monster, yes.
She put on weight
she did.
for that, so she could look more like her and stuff.
That was a good film. I enjoyed Monster.
She was good in that, actually. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they could have dyed her hair because the wig looked really awful. Yeah,
it did. And there was something about her acting in this whole film as well. I'm just going to put this out there. Everyone else was kind of acting badly.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney playing this character was trying so earnestly to act.
Yeah.
And it was watching someone trying really hard to act.
Yeah, trying too hard.
And trying too hard.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, I don't know how old Sydney Sweeney is. I think she's in her 20s, but she's playing a teenager, and she really can't play a teenager anymore.
Yeah. Not
because of the way she looks.
No.
But just the way she acts.
Yeah.
Like, I was once in a play. Unfortunately, it got fortunately, I think, actually got cancelled.
Yeah.
But it was I can't remember the name of it, but it followed a family from their child being born to being an adult, and I was playing the child, and you play a young child upwards.
Oh, okay.
And it was so hard trying to play a kid. It's so hard trying to play a kid. So hard trying to play younger.
It's not natural, is it?
And I think she was really struggling with it. Yeah, you do. You know.
I think even if you've got kids, you'd find it hard because you know how your kids act, but to try and act like them, it would come across as over the top. Or
it also didn't help that the director asked me to go on my knees when I was playing the child.
Oh no!
And it was like, I've got to move around the stage on my knees.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nearly 20 years ago, so.
But still, it's not comfortable, is it?
It's not comfortable. No.
Yeah.
It's just like
only toddlers can do that. As soon as you've got kneecaps, no, forget it. Hard floor and kneecaps, no.
I don't think it helped as well that as the child, I was playing like a toddler age.
Yeah.
Right at this point, that I was taller than my parents.
Yeah, that's,
it was so difficult.
Right, does it? No.
I can understand why it ended up being cancelled.
Yeah.
But yes, she's really struggling with it. But I agree, that wig. Yeah. And even I don't know if you remember, but when we were watching it, I looked at the trivia.
Yeah.
That wig, apparently when she was wearing that wig, it was so hot shooting.
Yeah.
That it actually made her ill.
Just forget the wig.
Just get rid of the wig.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the wig.
How can a wig be that hot as well?
Yeah.
Just a wig. I suppose you do lose it. I suppose your head is the one place that.
And if it's really hot. Could you imagine in the last week with the temperatures we've had?
Yeah.
Wearing a wig like that.
Yeah. You've covered your whole head.
Ugh.
Yeah, and then the last thing on costumes I want to say is Madame Webb doesn't have a costume the entire movie. She's in jeans.
Yeah.
And like a vest top or a t-shirt.
And a red leather jacket.
Yes. She doesn't have a costume. Mm-hmm. Or I've put or a superpower here. Or a superpower. But they literally, you only see them in costume. You see the 3 girls in costume in that guy's dreams, in the visions. And you only see Madame Webb in a costume right at the very end when she's not even, we don't even know what that is because it's not her in the wheelchair, it's her
kind
standing
of a projection of her.
Yeah. So I thought that was really bad. And I also thought the girl with the big spider legs that come out of her back in her costume was pretty shit as well.
I know.
Like when we did see the costumes, they were disappointing.
Yep.
And I just thought, why have we not seen a costume? Why has Madame Web not had a costume the whole entire movie? She's meant to be the main superhero in it. They've always got their costumes on all the way through.
And I think sometimes this is the issue with superhero movies and introducing new characters.
Yeah.
And like the issue we've had with all the old Spider-Man films, which you see the origin story over and over again, and I think I've said this before on one of our episodes. The Spider-Mans with Tom Holland, we didn't have an origin. We just went straight into him having the powers, and he's not great with them, but he learns better.
But it's okay to
learns more as he goes. But
yeah, it's okay to kind of like with some of the Spider-Man. I've not watched all of them, but like Tobey Maguire ones, which I don't like him as Spider-Man, but it does kind of show you how he got bit and he turned into Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's a short bit though of the movie. It's like, okay, this is an explanation of how he became Spider-Man, but then most of the movie he is Spider-Man with his superpowers. Yeah. So and that's what from a superhero movie, that's what you want. You want to see them as the superhero, having adventures as the superhero, fighting crime. But she's just in her jeans, going off to Peru to find a tree. Like it's just not. Yeah. We don't get the costume. We don't get.
And I think that's something that Daredevil did quite well as well. Is the fact that he's already Daredevil. Yeah. He's established as Daredevil. People know him as Daredevil.
And let's face it, the majority of the people that are going to watch superhero movies are fans of the comics, will know the stories. So you don't need to do a massive part of explanation. You don't need to do these origins because most of the fans will know it. And even people that aren't, like, I mean, I'm not a superhero fan. Yeah. I do have a son that used to be a massive superhero fan. But I can still watch movies with superheroes in and not need to know their exact origin of how they became that. And, you know, they allude to it, don't they? They do, or they show you little bits of it in some of them. Like Wolverine, you see him getting the metal put through his body and stuff. And you kind of see how he came to be. But
bear in mind, we've already had, by that point, 3 films of him as Wolverine, just with his powers already. So moviegoers know the character.
The explanation, do you?
Yeah, we don't. I think you make absolutely perfect point.
Most people will be like aware of Batman, Spider-Man. You don't need to necessarily know how they got there to just know they're a superhero because it's not realistic. It's not real life. It's not like people are walking around with superpowers. You know, it's a character, so you just think, well, I don't need to know. And with a lot of movies, you don't need to know their whole history. You just need to know where they're at now in this story. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was just, for a superhero movie, there wasn't much superhero stuff going on.
No, there really wasn't. And I think also, I think something that really annoyed the public about this movie, again, to do with the costumes for the 3, the 3 teenage superheroes that we have, is because the marketing was very much making it look like, they're going to have their powers throughout the movie and it's going to be something that's, you know, happens.
Because they put those clips in and then it just wasn't that. And then you're like, that's not what it is.
And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of movies nowadays, you watch the trailer and you think, no point in seeing the film, I know what happens. But this one is really like, no, actually, well, maybe if they did the usual Hollywood trailer and showed everything that happens, people would have gone, you know what, I don't think I'll actually go to that at all.
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, I really agree. I think, obviously, the Spider people were Peru, but my biggest issue was the costumes for the 3 heroes that we are supposed to be invested in. That's the biggest egregious thing. Yeah. Oh, egregious.
That's a good word.
Wow, I'm impressed myself with that one. I hope it was the right word.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. I think so. Right, so costumes, bad, done and dusted. We've not left ourselves a lot of room for good costumes there.
I don't think I've got any good costumes. But also off the back of that, my special effects as well.
Yes.
Is the spider people of Peru when they jump through the trees.
Yeah,
it just looks so bad.
I was literally going to move on to bad special effects.
It was literally like an old video game from like the 80s or 90s. Yeah. Like they just sort of jumped about the screen, but it just looked so unnatural the way they were jumping through the trees.
I mean, it is unnatural jumping through trees, but the way it was
Yeah.
did not look like these were people who naturally could jump through trees.
And I think,
Absolutely.
yes, it's not natural for humans to be able to jump through trees, but there are animals that will move
Yep,
through trees
yep.
that you could take the movements from
Yeah.
and get an idea
So,
of how you might move through a tree if
so
you could.
why not do that as a movie maker?
Yeah.
Do you know? Absolutely.
Like, look at, I don't know, look at chimpanzees or something that can swing through the trees, or I don't know, something that jumps from. There must be animals that jump from tree to tree. Squirrels, that, just like take a bit of inspiration from their movement. I know we're different.
I mean, look at it this way, right? You can't take inspiration from spiders because you don't really see spiders running through trees or anything, do you? So it's like, why is this their power? They can run through trees.
It's weird. Yeah. I mean, spiders can run fast. They've got 8 legs, but you've got a lot of legs. You can run faster.
Imagine Usain Bolt with 8 legs. Oof.
Exactly.
You wouldn't see him for
Imagine
dust.
Milo with 8 legs.
Oh my
I'd
God.
never see him again. He's fast enough on 4.
I mean, he's only got half of the 8. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty fast as it is. Although not at the moment, he's actually. But yeah, it just looks so ridiculous, didn't it?
It really did. I'm glad you mentioned the spider people of Peru because that was my major issue with the special effects. There were some other, shonky bits of special effects as we went through, but those spider people, if you've not seen Madame Web, you have to watch it to kind of believe what's happening when it happens. It's mind-blowingly bad. All right, what about supporting cast?
I just had down for bad the main villain. I can't remember what his name is. What's
Ezekiel.
His name?
Ezekiel
Yes.
Sims.
He was dubbed.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't.
I just don't get it.
It was great. Yeah.
I mean, there are moments in the film where you can clearly see the words that are coming out of his mouth are not the words that mouth is forming.
Yeah.
And what's going on?
He wasn't speaking a different language, was he? They dubbed him over.
Nope. I mean, I think the actor's either South American or I believe he is of Hispanic descent. Possibly, he might be. I mean, I'm not. I honestly could not say for definite if he is. But he's played by a fella called Tahar Rahim. So he's actually born in Belfort, a territoire de Belfort in France. So actually, he looks like he was born in France.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there are points where he's speaking and you can quite clearly understand what he's saying. So was it an issue of rewriting some of his lines? Or
I don't know.
Not his lines just not coming through properly? Did they accidentally delete the recordings as they were filming the scenes? What was going on and why specifically just him? It was so odd.
I have no idea.
But it made his performance awful because
annoying.
of it.
Yeah.
Because the lines that they gave him were really clunky, weren't they?
Yeah. It wasn't good.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. Do you know who I've got?
Who?
All 3 of the girls that Cassie was trying to save.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
I want to be a supervillain myself just so I can take them out.
Yeah.
And not for dinner.
You won't take them out though because Cassie will be there in a car, some sort of vehicle.
Some sort of
to
vehicle.
Take you out.
Oh God, I'll need some sort of anti-vehicle device.
And it doesn't matter how high up she is.
It doesn't
need a
matter.
tank or something like that so you can take down her car.
Yeah, God. Oh, there were so many scenes with them where they were just absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible, terrible acting. I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when I was talking about what was the character's name? Julia, I think, played by Sydney Sweeney. But they're not really given much to do.
Yeah.
They are just the most...
And we're not really... I know we just said we don't want loads of backstory, but we don't get really any explanation.
Oh, the only explanation we get from them is literally, at one point they all say to each other, oh, my dad doesn't really care about me. Oh, my dad married someone else after my mum died. Oh, my dad's been deported.
This reminds me of a little video I saw of little kids. And
go on.
My dad's the CEO of blah, blah, blah. My dad did this amazing thing. And then this little girl goes, my dad's got diabetes. They're like bragging and bragging, and she's just like comes out with that. And I thought that's so typical of kids, isn't it?
But it is a bit, but it is like that.
Yes.
You know,
It is like little kids having a conversation.
I can't remember who she is, but she's played by Celeste O'Connor. Mattie Franklin. She's the badass. She's the skateboarder. She's the one that flips off Cassie when she skates in front of the ambulance, right?
Yeah.
She's like the rich girl. And she's always like, oh yeah, my dad could buy that, blah 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 blah. But then it turns out that actually it's all just material. You know, he's off traveling around the world being whatever he is, and she's neglected.
Yeah.
And Anya Corazon, her parents have been deported, and she's just hanging on till she's 18. So it's all very much like there's a great big exposition dump about that, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then ultimately that only happens so that Madame Webb can kind of adopt them later.
It's
You know, the thing is maybe it's just that they've been given such empty characters they can't really do anything with it other than just be caricatures.
I don't know.
But I found that awful.
I don't know where they're from, don't know what they did.
It's like, wow, what are you singing away here? What's going on? Tune in next episode for what song Emma sings then.
I'll surprise you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, our next season might be about somewhere specific, so if you could make it themed each time, okay?
Sure.
We'll see. Because this is the last episode of Superheroes, I'm sure you're quite glad about that.
This was quite a tough one to get through.
This has been a tough one. All right, what about bad scene?
I've got a few. You won't be surprised to hear.
The whole movie?
Well, yeah, the entire movie. Bye. When the guy tricks the woman, you know, what's his name again? Who's
Ezekiel.
the villain?
The villain is Ezekiel.
When he gets the woman home from the opera, and he's trying to get her ID.
Oh yeah.
And he poisons her, but he needs a code, doesn't he, to get into her? And he just remembers this long code. Like, he doesn't write it down. He doesn't. He's just like has one look at this code, or she tells him. Does she tell him the code? Or is he looking?
She tells him the code.
She tells him the code. And then she dies, and he just remembers the code. I'd be like, I would be writing that down, or I'd be saying it over and over until I got there. On the way there, I'd be going 5732G4, like 5723G4.
Emma, that's actually the code.
But I would have to like repeat in my head all the way there, or if I had like a phone to hand, I would just put it down on the phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say it slowly.
Imagine if she died, and then he was like,
"Oh shit, what did she say?" Oh no. That's what I would do. I'd be like, shit, what did she say? I wasn't listening.
I'm going to have to go and pick someone else up at the opera.
Yeah. I just sleep with someone else now.
The only other person with the code is Jeff in accounts. Oh, well.
I've done worse.
Hello, Jeff.
Yeah, and I thought the whole scene was really cringy, but I just thought that was ridiculous as well, because you're not just remembering a long code, are you? So I thought that one was bad.
Yeah.
I also thought when she was... so you mentioned the pigeon earlier.
Oh, aye.
Was it a pigeon?
Yeah.
So she's in her apartment and she's watching Scrooge for some reason, which is not.
I don't think we're set.
Christmas.
No,
set at Christmas
everything
time.
looks really sunny outside.
Yeah. So it's a bit of an odd choice of.
And it's New York. New York gets cold in the winter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So she's watching Scrooge and she's making popcorn.
Yeah.
And the bird hits the window, and that's when she gets like the premonition of the bird hitting the window, and then later on she opens the window and stuff. But the way they did it, it was like a scene from Final Destination, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The way they filmed it was like
lots of little bits leading up.
Shoot to the microwave going on, like so you're trying to second guess what's going to happen. I almost expected her to fall out the fire escape and the ladder to fall down and go for her eye like it does in Final Destination. Yeah. You know the guy's cooking.
Yeah.
And then like does he throw something out the window like with oil or something out the pan out of the window?
I've never watched a Final Destination movie, but I've watched all the deaths.
Yeah, but you're like all the way along. You're like,
is this going to be it?
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously the pan goes up in flames, and he ends up going down the fire escape. But then when he gets to the bottom of it, he slips on the oil that he's chucked out the window, and then the ladder slips down and goes straight in his eye.
Yep.
Yeah, and actually talking about Final Destination, I was in the car earlier, and there was one of those big lorries with
the
logs.
logs. Oh,
and
yeah.
I've seen those on the motorway as well before, and I thought, oh no, I don't want to be behind this.
No, I will break the speed limit to overtake them.
I don't
Oh
want to be
God,
behind
what if
this
breaking the speed limit and overtaking them is what? Oh no,
what causes an accident. Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it. I've got to drive
I don't
home
think
later.
there's any person that's in Final Destination that hasn't had that little bit of fear when they've been behind a log lorry before, especially if you're on the motorway and you're driving quite fast.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. The thing is, it's not how physics works. If that has an accident, the logs are going forward. But I don't care.
You just,
I don't care. That could hit me, and that'd be the end of me. Quite right. Any other scenes?
Only just to say that the woods that they camp in at the beginning
looks
very much like the jungle of Peru where a mum died. So I think that might be the same location they shot in there. I don't know if they actually went to Peru.
It really does look like it, doesn't it? It does.
Pretty sure it's the same location.
I'm going to add another scene, the diner scene. So when the girls are in the diner and they're eating, they see like a corner booth of a load of like frat boys.
Yes.
Okay. And Matty tries to get Julia, Sydney Sweeney's character, to kind of zhuzh things up. And she's kind of dressed them up and gets her to walk over. And it's just so awkward because it was so dreadful because one, they know there's like a kidnap warning out about them.
Yeah.
Okay? So why, first of all, would they make the decision to really bring attention to themselves?
Yeah.
And the attention they bring to themselves is in a diner with people working, it open, other people in the diner. They all get up on the table and they all start dancing sexily for these frat boys.
Yeah.
Right? Bearing in mind they're teenage girls.
Yeah.
And they're college-age students, so they're older anyway. But also, why is no one in the diner going, get the hell off the table, get down?
Yeah.
No, there they are just dancing. Oh.
Yeah.
To Britney Spears' Toxic that didn't come out until a whole year later, Emma.
I know, and they set the movie... How did they get that so wrong?
How did they get everything so wrong? How? So yeah, that was my worst scene in the film. Just the whole awkward like, oh, what are you doing? I'm just going to zhuzh you up for the boys. Why? Oh no, don't. I'm so shy. Oh, you're so shy, but you're wearing the world's shortest skirt. Or let me say, the director has basically gone, yeah, we've got 3 young women. Let's put them in the skimpiest clothes and make them dance for a load of boys. Yes. What's going on there?
It's reeking of Neil Breen.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, no, this scene is integral to the movie. I'm going to write the scene. I want this scene to happen. I'm not even going to pick my favourite Britney Spears song for it. Just what was going through the director's mind?
Not a lot.
Not a lot at all. It was directed by a fella called... Oh, no. I do apologise. It was directed by a lady called S.J. Watson. So, yeah, there you go. All filmography, what else? Oh, a lot of TV shows. Life on Mars, Toast, Orange is the New Black, and The Defenders. So, how dreadful of me just to assume it was a man that directed it. Absolutely sexist. Which makes even that scene where you've got young women dancing for men even weirder then. I don't know. Am I in the wrong here, thinking that that's weird?
No, it is weird, but...
Was it something to be like, this will get those sweaty comic book nerd guys to come and watch this film?
Probably.
Oh, god damn. And there was me sitting in the cinema alone watching it, giggling away, eating Maltesers.
With a slushy.
Masturbating furiously.
And that's why you'll never allow back to us anymore. I think it might be time to end this podcast.
Yeah.
If we've got anyone left.
I think I might have to delete that out. I'll probably forget.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that's all I've got to say about our categories as well.
Yes.
We need to score this movie.
I'm going to struggle with this one.
Yeah, I think I am. I don't have anything good about this film.
No.
I say that like there's a handful of good things they talk about. Okay, very very brief handful of things. I think.
Yeah.
There's not a lot saving this film.
Nothing.
There isn't. it's not the worst movie in the world, but it's also just a completely nothing film either. And I think I'm going to give it 0 Peruvian Spider-Men out of 5. It's a 0 film. It's not a negative film.
No.
Like, what was our negative film? Captain America? No.
I gave minus points to.
We gave a negative film. Oh, God, what did we give negative
In
points
this
to?
season?
I think it was this season.
It might have been Captain America then, because that was
Might have
pretty
been.
dire.
Oh, God, I can't remember what we gave negative points to. Shout out if you remember what we gave negative points to. It's been so long. Yeah, I'm going to give this 0 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
And in terms of a bad movie, it's a movie trying to be a movie, but it fails, and it's got nothing in there that makes it even a future cult classic. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like when they've got a bigger budget,
Yeah.
they should have some redeeming things.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here really struggling to even find something to give it half a point for. So I think I'm going to have to agree with you and just give it 0. Because I can't think of a reason I would give it any points.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like with, what movie was it? House Shark.
Yeah.
Terrible movie. But I think I gave it a point because at the end he picks up the head.
The very end, yes, I remember. Yeah.
So I had a reason to give it a point or half a point or whatever I gave it. But I literally can't think of anything that I could give it any points for.
Yeah.
So
There
0.
There is nothing.
Nothing. You're going into Whitney Houston now.
Oh, but you could have done the other Whitney Houston song.
Which one?
I believe the children are the future. Considering the movie's about someone who can see the future, and she's literally saving children.
But you weren't saying.
But I
those
wasn't
lyrics.
saying.
You were
But
saying
I was saying
nothing.
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 Oh, don't say we don't do anything for you when
I
we're
know, they've got 3 minutes singing
serenading
this
you.
time.
Serenading you. Right, okay.
Time to move on.
Time to move on.
To the flip side. We can't.
We do have to talk about the good bits of it. I don't think it's
shouldn't
going to
take
be.
long.
It's not going to be very long. I really don't. I will just say, look, if you've watched it, let us know. If you disagree and you think this is the greatest superhero movie that's ever been made,
I doubt anyone thinks that.
you might want to get your head checked.
Yeah, you might not be okay.
You might. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
You know what happened? What happened to you? But also, if you agree with us, let us know. It's been a bit of a time since it's been out. All the dust has settled, and it's not any better on a second viewing. Trust me. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. If you want to hear about the flip side, come and join us on www.patreon.com/ICBadMovies. One thing that's changed about the Patreon a little bit, we've jiggled it around. We've reduced the price.
Yep.
The Patreon's now only $3.
That's even more of a bargain now.
Even more of a bargain, absolutely. Plus, if you don't think, I don't know if I want to commit to $3 a month, the first episode of all of our seasons on the flip side is now available to you if you sign up as a member, a non-paying member of the Patreon. So see what you think, and if you think, actually, I'm enjoying the flip side, then it's $3 a month. It helps us rent these movies. That's the main thing. And tea and coffee, because we need a lot to get through these. So, Emma, shall we put superhero movies to bed? Yeah. Goodbye, superhero movies, and goodbye, you lovely listeners. Bye.
Bye.